Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Codman Square Neighborhood Council's monthly community meeting. I'm so happy to see all of your faces. I'm sure others will trickle in, but we want to make sure we start on time so that we can end on time. The agenda was shared earlier, so I'm just going to jump right into things. Let me share my screen to give some quick updates. Okay, so the first update that I wanted to share quickly was that the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market was supposed to end March 25th. As you guys know, it was virtual this year in order to create a safe space for us to obtain our fresh local organic produce. But it's been extended. No one wants it to end. So North of Boston Farm and some of the other farmers, they're willing to keep the virtual site going and make sure that we still have access to fresh local organic produce in Dorchester. So visit the website, you can still order. This is pretty exciting because you all know that in addition to running the Codman Square Farmers Market and the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market, we really care about food access. And if we can have our winter market kind of roll on into our summer market, that would be ideal. So we don't know for how long we'll have this resource, but definitely through April and hopefully through May. And then the Codman Square Farmers Market starts in July. So stay tuned, and that's super exciting. Does anyone have any questions about the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market?
How's it going, Cynthia?
It's been going so well. In addition to the farm supporting our website and making ordering online seamless and easy, farm fresh food is being delivered to our doorsteps. So it's just a super safe process, something that we just didn't have access to before. And we are also distributing, food to families every Thursday. So this is a picture of the kiosk that was featured in the Dorchester Reporter recently. The kiosk is located at the Epiphany. And so we're, pooling all of our resources and making sure that we're making fresh food available to families that are in need. So in addition, if you're able to purchase, farm fresh food online, great, do so at the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market website. But if you're not able to and you can't afford the prices that are out there and we try to discount them, then we're giving food away to families as well. So the initiative has been amazing throughout the winter. And last I checked, we were distributing about 200 boxes of about a week's worth of food every Thursday in a partnership with the Epiphany School. So it's been phenomenal, a really amazing resource. And if you guys want more information, you can either message me, or I think Keshler from the Bold Teens is on. You can message either one of us or anyone from the Codman Square Neighborhood Council. And my last update before I hand it off to the next presenter would be that you guys know we've been trying to secure a little over $1 million to do the capital improvements for the Codman Square Park located at the corner of Washington Street and Talbot Ave. You all know that we were able to secure about $640,000 in the capital budget plan. We applied to CPA and we were awarded an additional $150,000, and that's going through the motions. And then we also applied to the Brown Fund for an additional $150,000 for the art features all throughout the park. So it's exciting that when we first started this project, it was just a vision. We were just, planning and thinking, what would our dream park look like? And now it's really coming to life after all of the hard work of the Friends of the Codman Square Park and the Codman Square Neighborhood Council and all of the supporting organizations, just meeting and envisioning and planning and bringing this effort to life. So I just want to thank you all, because we're slowly, putting all the pieces together so that we will eventually transform this centrally located space. And it's very exciting. Any questions about the Codman Square Park?
Are there opportunities for others to join the Friends group?
Yes, Marilyn, the Friends group needs to meet. Tell us.
I know, but I just want other people, if they want to be a part of it, to know that they can.
Yes, absolutely. And just be mindful that although that rendering looks amazing, and we were able to engage a landscape architect and an artist, Destiny Palmer, just know that there's still opportunities to vision and plan and provide input into what the park will look like. So moving forward, we will have additional meetings and visioning opportunities with the Parks Department to just finalize the design, make sure the Arts Commission is on board, make sure the community is on board. So it's not final. We do need more input. We do want to get everyone involved. So message Marilyn if you want to join the Friends of the Codman Square Park group. We usually meet in the park, like in the space, so we can actually think about it real time, but it's been difficult with COVID, so we'll be figuring out how we'll meet in the future. Any other questions or comments? Is there anything in the chat? I see some chat over here. Oh, okay, great. Thanks, Marilyn. Okay, so moving along in the agenda, let me just double check to see if the sergeant is on. I don't see him. We have an exciting opportunity this evening. The Codman Square Library Improvement Study is going to be happening for our community library, and there's going to be a community engagement process. So I think the representatives from the Codman Square branch are on. I'm going to hand it off to them to tell us a little bit about this study and how we can all get involved.
Yeah, my name is Priscilla Foley. I'm the Director of Neighborhood Services for the Boston Public Library, and I work with Ms. Janice Knight at the Codman Square branch. Obviously she's there being the amazing branch librarian, but in my role in looking at I oversee all of the branches, and part of that job is working to make branch improvement across the city. So we are very excited that we're going to be starting a capital project process for the Codman Square branch. And what I will also do, I'm just going to pull back a little bit. I'll make sure that all of our information that we have for upcoming meetings is sent to Cynthia, so she has all of that, so we can help distribute that. And also the neighborhood services representatives from the mayor's office are also aware of meetings. So what is a programming study? So basically what we're starting is, and we're looking at the physical needs of the branch. Now, for those of you that I'm sure have been there, the branch is wonderful. The staff are fantastic, but that brick exterior can be a little bit not as welcoming as we physically like it to be. So one of the things that the programming study does is architects come in, they look at the building, they look at the neighborhood, they look at the pros and cons of the building, like the structure and all of the, even things like how's the roof, and looking at what we need to be bringing this library for the next 60 years. And so with that, we talk to neighborhood organizations, we talk to residents, we talk to patrons, and we have community meetings. And the first one is April 27th, and it's at 6:30. It will be by Zoom, but we will also have surveys printed out at the branch in multiple languages for people to fill out. And we also have an opportunity on the website, and there's just this box that says, hey, I'd like to see this in a branch. And anything is, we want to hear every idea. It's really helpful to hear like the community saying, we really need more small classrooms, or we really need a Ferris wheel. Now we're not putting a Ferris wheel there, but we want to hear everything. And so that's the first phase of the programming study. The other thing that we've been doing in this for the last few years is every one of our building projects, we look to see if it makes sense to have housing with public assets. So that would be a beautiful branch with all of the things that we love about the Codman Square branch, plus some more computers, more outlets, and seeing if it's appropriate to put housing on. We went through this process with the Fields Corner branch a couple of years ago, and we are currently in the process of looking at this with our West End location and our Eggleston location. So that's the other thing that we're also exploring with the Codman Square branch. And we've been working with our wonderful partners at D&D to explore this. So after a programming study, The next step is design, and that's where the details really come in, and that's really where the architects are actually like drawing where the outlets go in the plans for the general contractor to build them. And that's where the conceptual layouts come in, and we say like, okay, this is how big we want the community room, this is how big we want this, and like this is how big the children's room should be. And then after that, and so each one of these phases is about a year. And so building projects they take an incredible amount of time, and it can feel very like, what's going on there? What's going on there? So anytime, once this project kicks off later this month, if you ever have questions, ask, Ms. Janice at night at the Codman Square branch. You can always email me, and we'll make sure that all of our, our neighborhood, the Codman Square neighborhood associations know about like what's going on, who and to whom to contact. We actually just finished this process at our Roxbury branch, located in New Beacon Square, where we did a programming study, we did a design, and we did construction. And that was where I'm thinking of roofs needing to be replaced, which was something that needed to happen there. And we were able to open only for our whole BPL to go, because we can't have people in the building yet. And so we were able to renovate this beautiful branch for the community. So I'm going to pause there and see if anybody has any questions. Okay. I know it's a lot to digest, but so we're really excited. So what we'll do is we'll send out the link, send out making sure that you all have the access to the Zoom link for the upcoming meeting. And my email address is really simple. It's pfoley@bpl.org. So if there's anybody else that you feel like I need to be connecting with or talking to, please let me know. And really, really excited. And I'm thrilled to join tonight, because now I wrote all of these notes about the park. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Maryland does with the next phase of this project. So thank you all for having me.
This is wonderful. A lot of exciting things are taking place in Codman Square. Yeah, this is great. So can I just recap? So you said that each of these phases take about a year. We have the programming study, we have the design phase. What happens after that? So take me all the way through.
Absolutely. So programming study is about a year, and then the design phase is about a year, and then the construction. And so that is anywhere between 18 to 24 months, depending on the complexities of the project. For those of you that are bored on a Sunday morning and feel like driving by the Adams Square branch, we went through this entire process. So we started that, and about 5 years ago, we did the programming study. We met with the community. We got input. And then we went into design, and we actually, and for the Adams branch, it was a little bit different. It wasn't accessible. So every part, you couldn't actually just walk in the front door if you had mobility issues or a stroller. And so we we leveled the building, destroyed it all, and built a brand new building. And for those of you that haven't, I'm sure if you've seen the construction, but definitely drive by. We won't be opening till later in the summer, but that's a good thing to see. So basically programming study, design, and then construction. And the construction is either a renovation like we did for the Roxbury branch, or a brand new building like we did for the Adams branch.
Understood.
So it's 5 years, and that's without housing with public assets. So that's when I say it can seem a little like it seemed long, like what's happening with this. So it's when we tend to have community members saying, what's going on with this? And it's because it takes a while.
And with the Adams project, when you did, complete new construction, how many community meetings would you say that you held for that project?
So we, similarly to the programming study and the design, we had a survey to ask the community what their needs were, and each one of the phases. So programming study had between 3 to 4 meetings. Design has between 3 to 4 meetings, and it's really the best way for us to hear because everybody in the neighborhood has different ideas, and it's actually really the best way for us to hear everything all together. Now we collect information on a daily basis where people, because there's actually a section on our website where people can just email us sort of suggestions, and we take all of that and we also present that at each meeting. So we say, so let's say we're at the second meeting. Well, actually, yeah. So let's say we're at we're going to have Codman Square meeting at the end of April. So the next one we have, we'll say, this is everything we said. We won't say Cynthia told us to do this, but it's very like, you know, we make sure we summarize all the community concerns and needs, and we feel like that's actually really, and we present those at the meeting. We say, this is all the things that we've heard.
That's great. I don't want to ask all the questions, but I do have one more. How successful have you all been in making sure that your meetings are like really representative of the neighborhood?
That's a great question, Cynthia. So one of the reasons why I'm here too is to be like, please come. So we've actually had a lot of success pre-COVID with having people come, and we're learning as well in this sort of time when we really want to make sure that we can get as much input, and we know that not everybody has connectivity, and so that's why we have paper. We have paper surveys that we'll be handing out. We've actually so every time we want to do something, the city wants to do something, we have to put in a request. So we've put in a request to be outside on the sidewalk handing out surveys to people, because we want the city to understand that this is what we're doing. So we always have to ask permission so we don't put anybody at risk. So that is a challenge, and that's actually like, this is something that we need anybody who can help us with bringing as many voices to these meetings as possible. We want them. So I guess I'm asking, like, let me know and we'll do it, because we really want to make sure that's vital to this process. We don't hear from everybody. It's you know, we need to make sure we have as many voices as possible. One thing I will say with the kind of challenges right now, residents at Codman Square, if they want to go explore other sites, all they can do is sort of like look in and just sort of like wave to the staff. They can't actually go in and explore. So that's one of the challenges. However, we did work with the City of Boston's digital storytellers, and we actually have a tour of the Roxbury branch that's digital. So we do have that you know, available, and we'll be doing the same thing for Adams, so people can see, oh, what will a brand new building look like? And I think that that would be helpful for Codman Square to be able to see that.
That's really great. I'm gonna ask our bold teens, I think Keshler's on, to work with you. We have hundreds of families that, you know, experience the Codman Square Farmers Market and come on site. It's safe, it's outdoors. Even through COVID last year, like, families were out there, and I think it's a really great opportunity to make sure that the study engages an intergenerational group. So Keshler, if you're on, make sure you connect with the team here.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And we'll make sure, like, if there's places that we should be at, let me know. Like, you know, if they think there's a place where we can, you know, be helpful with just even speaking about you know, like carving out a dedicated teen space. Now the staff at Codman Square do an amazing job, but we really want like a place where they can really like have their own identity, which is really important.
That's great. Any other questions, comments, thoughts? This is exciting.
So Denise has asked about the community advisory. So the way that these projects work, it's more of a steering committee, and so it's not like, so you know, in a traditional CAC, if you're working with developers or BPDA, and please, I apologize if this gets too boring or detaily, but basically the developers are working with the community on things. Now for these, for our projects for the library, we really just want to hear from the community, and what we have is really more of a steering committee, which is looking at people that are saying, I can come to every meeting, anytime I'm gonna, if somebody tells me feedback about what they want to see in the library, I'll make sure I email Priscilla. So it's sort of that commitment is not, it's not so much of this like really like independent meetings with developers and architects. It's really more of just a really engaged, awesome community members saying, I'm coming to the meeting and I'm going to tell you what I think about what you just said. So email me or email Cynthia, and then she can tell me like people that are like, hey, I need to be on it. I know we're starting the list, and we would like to have that list really more sort of solidified towards the before the meeting. However, I'll give you an example. We had another project, and we had one set of sort of engaged community members for the programming study, and then in a totally different group of people coming in for design. So it's we're open. We want to hear from people, and the steering committee is a really important part to making sure that all of those community voices are represented, because unfortunately we can only be capturing this in this online format, but we can go out into the community like with surveys and ask people questions, clipboards. What would you like to see?
Right. Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions, thoughts, comments? If not, Priscilla, thank you so much for this presentation. We're excited to support this study and for all that's to come with the branch.
Thank you all for having me, and I thank you all for all of your amazing work that you do, and I'm really really looking forward to seeing you all later on in the month at the meeting. Thank you.
Great, thank you. On that note, we'll move along in the agenda. We have Northeastern students on. I think Anthony and Belle are here. They're going to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about a collaboration with the Codman Square Neighborhood Council.
Yes, thank you. So my name is Anthony Joe Santos. I'm a fourth-year criminal justice student at Northeastern, and we reached out to Cynthia to talk about working on a project together. So Belle and I both enrolled in a class called Communities in Crime. It's a 4,000 level class, and it deals with communities in crime, especially in the Boston area, and studying some of the theory behind it. And it's a service learning class, which means that one of the major components of grading is going out, doing volunteer work, and helping a community in the area. So it's a bit twofold. We're going to be helping the Codman Square Neighborhood Council with a built environment survey. So if this Saturday you see me wandering around Washington Avenue, taking down notes and things like that, that's the reason why I'm there. So we'll be taking notes on that, and eventually that'll come about to a survey, which I'm sure you guys know about. That'll go out and ask people what they want to see in the neighborhood in terms of new businesses, what to change. So I'll be helping on that front.
Thank you so much. We're really excited. If you guys remember back in October 2019, we looked at, what we see in our merchants district, and we were seeing a lot of the same, a lot of beauty, hair and nail salons, a lot of fast food establishments, a lot of convenience stores. And it just started to initiate a conversation about what's missing and where's the leakage and what we're leaving our community to do and where we're spending our money. And, in our initial surveys of asking residents, they're saying we want pet shops, we want flower shops, we want bookstores, we want to buy a decent cup of coffee right in our neighborhood, or we want to sit down and enjoy a healthy meal, a nice restaurant right in our community. These are the things we do not have. And so I'm glad that you guys are going to assist us in just assessing, what's available in our neighborhood, what residents want to see, so that we can advocate for the things that we really want and truly deserve in our neighborhood. If we want to address the major health inequities, if we want to address the obesity and the diabetes type 2 in our community, we have to change what's available to us. So this will be a very exciting project. Any questions for Anthony? And if you guys remember last month, we did have Boston College and the Codman Square Neighborhood Development Corporation share their market study that they are doing in Codman Square. And so we plan to collaborate, work together, figure out how to make sure we're not duplicating efforts. They seem very focused on merchants, and our survey might be more focused on residents, but we'll make sure that it all seamlessly meshes together. And Anthony's going to help with that.
Cynthia, can I say something?
Please do.
I just completed a survey, and I know it doesn't directly connect Codman Square, but It was from, it was Reimagining Main Streets. And the survey was sent out by Conan Harris, and if I can find the link, I can put it in the chat. And Codman Square was included as one of the areas, and they were asking these similar questions, like if you live in Codman Square, what types of businesses would you like to see and what have you? And I think it would really be helpful to double team this effort with Northeastern to fill out the survey, send it to the city so they're aware that we're all speaking the same language about that. I don't know if that would be helpful, but I had listed the same things you were saying, you know, coffee shops, art venues, walking, nice places to sit, and they ask all these questions in the survey. So if I can dig up the link, I'll send it out to you.
Please do. Thank you, Candace. And Anthony, let's do that as well. Let's focus on all the surveying that's taking place with regard to merchants districts where Codman Square is mentioned.
Sounds fantastic to me.
Thank you. Any other questions, thoughts, comments for Anthony? If not, we look forward to working with you and we're excited to see what's to come.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and my partner Belle is going to speak quickly about one other thing, and then but we thank you for your time.
Hi, Belle.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Belle, and I'm also a Northeastern student working on this project. And in addition to noting the physical environment of the neighborhood, as Anthony has mentioned, we also hope to gain an understanding of people's experiences in the neighborhood. So in order to do so, we aim to conduct a short interview with some of you over the next week. So this interview will be about your experiences as a resident of Codman Square, which will be used to further our learning and understanding of communities in crime. So we're very grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
Great. So to be clear, they're going to be helping us out. So make sure we help them out. If you're available to do this short interview for their class, please message Anthony and or Belle. And Anthony, you're in Somerville, right? Somerville, Mass?
Yes, I live in Somerville currently.
And Belle's in Thailand?
Yes, very far away.
So thank you for accommodating us with the time difference and being a part of this meeting. Let's make sure we support these students. Thank you all.
Thank you all so much.
Moving along in the agenda, I think I saw Officer Brewington on the call to give us the B3 report.
Yes, ma'am, you did. Good evening, everybody. How are you guys?
Well, how are you?
I am great, Cynthia.
That's good.
You know, Cynthia's. For those of you who don't know, our name means goddess of the moon. And we exemplify it well. So in the last 30 days in your catchment area, there were 14 incidents that required a police report. Out of those 14 incidents, 2 of those were sick assist for emotionally disturbed people. 4 of those were for motor vehicle accidents. So that kind of brings your numbers down. And 2 of those were domestic violence incidents, which, you know, we don't report on domestics. Earlier in the month, on the 9th of March, there was a shot spotter activation at 31 Torrey Street. No 911 calls were placed. However, when the supervisors and the officers did respond, they did recover 1 spent shell casing in between 31 and 35 Torrey Street. Didn't appear that there was any damage to any vehicles or any houses, and there were nobody complained of any gunshot wounds, which is a good thing. So that happened. A couple of verbal disputes. We had a student on Peaceville Road on the 24th decide that on the Zoom, he was going to shoot up the school. And so he made the statement via the Zoom. Of course, everybody was on the Zoom and heard it in, of course. It was actually during an award ceremony. So not only were students and staff on there, but parents were on there as well. And the young man was upset because he did not get an award specifically to himself. So he thought it would be a good idea to threaten to shoot up the school. Needless to say, that just did not turn out well for him. For those young people who are doing transactions of selling their items, their goods, please remember that you do not need to do it in a private place. you're always welcome to come into the lobby of a police station. You can more than likely go to a grocery store, someplace where there's a lot of bodies. We had a young man on the 26th of March who found somebody on one of those apps to purchase 2 pairs of his sneakers. And the buyer wanted to do the transaction behind 9 Peaceville. And guess what happened? The young man selling the shoes got robbed. And he got assaulted as well. So if you're going to be doing these transactions, you know, do it in an open place. Do it where there are other eyes and ears that can see and hear things. Let's see. On Chipman Street on the 27th, we had a young man who was robbed. He was beat by 2 men and robbed by these 2 men. And the unfortunate thing is that he met a female on an app, went to meet this female, and the female set him up. So please be careful, be careful, be careful of these apps. When you don't know these people, don't go meet them in private places. Meet them in public if you choose to do so. This young man was beat and he was robbed of his wallet, and all 3 of the suspects left him there in his vehicle bloodied. Other than that, there's not much to report for your catchment area. So with that being said, are there any comments, questions, or concerns for the B3 side? Ooh, you guys are quiet tonight.
Okay.
I'm not used to this. One thing that I need to announce, the city is in a push to try to get the illegal dirt bikes and scooters. Notice I said illegal, meaning if they're dirt bikes belonging on the dirt, they're illegal to be operating on the city streets. If they are not registered, they are not legal to be operating on the streets. Those are the bikes that we are trying to get off the streets. They are already out causing a nuisance. Those 4-wheelers don't belong on the streets. So the department is trying to do a push to try to get as many of the illegal ones off the streets before the summer really hits. So we're asking all of our residents, if you happen to see these vehicles being parked in your neighborhood, whether it be on the street, a driveway, in the backyard, please notify your local police department so that the officers, the auto investigator, can in fact check to make sure that they're legal. If they are legal, then we're not bothering them. If they are illegal, then we will confiscate them. When the owner does come to retrieve it, then the officer will explain to them how to properly register their vehicle or where they can properly utilize their vehicles so that they are operated safely on the streets. So if you happen to see any of them, please give us a call. We are trying to get a push before the summer hits. Also, if anybody is interested in playing bingo via Zoom or on your local TV channel network, BNN, we are doing a Zoom twice a month. If you're interested, call into the community service office and I will set you up with your bingo cards. You can play from the comforts of your own home. And yes, there are prizes awarded.
Very nice. Excellent.
We just actually got done playing bingo. I didn't win.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody here won, but but there were some cool prizes that were given. Some people got $5 gift cards, $10 and $50 gift cards. So there are some pretty good prizes to be given out.
Excellent.
Cynthia, are there going to be any, I know you just mentioned that is by Zoom, but are there going to be any youth programming or opportunities to engage with the youth this summer outdoors?
We are hoping to do that. However, we have to go by the guidelines of the state and the city. I can tell you that the Boston Police Teen Academy will be up and running. We actually were up and running last summer as well. The only difference is normally we have 65 to 75 kids, and last year we were allowed to have 19. I'm not sure what the number is that, what our maximum number will be this year, but that will definitely be taking place. The mayor's youth link, the success link, all of those links are open. If your youth are looking for things to do, make sure that they register. They have to register. ABCD is up and running. Make sure your youth apply on ABCD. I know there are jobs available. There are some jobs that are in person, like I said, with the Teen Academy, but there are also jobs that are being done through Zoom. So when I know, you all will know, because I'm itching to get out of this office.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your
You too, Miss Cynthia.
We appreciate you and we miss
You
you.
too. Hey, Jeff,
you
giving my shout outs. Marilyn, all my people. Russell, I can't leave him out. He'll smack me in my head. Anybody else I say, I got to scroll through. Marty's
You got
on
that
here.
right.
Hey, Marty, I see people.
We appreciate you.
You too. You guys do amazing work. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you.
And
Moving
especially the boat teams. Can't leave them out.
Yeah, they're quiet.
'Cause
tonight.
of-
There's no cash. I don't know what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving along in the agenda, we will now hear from one of our merchants, Grove Hall Convenience at 292 Talbot. Oh, I love that photo. Are the representatives from Grove Hall Convenience on?
Yeah. Hi, Cynthia. Thank you for having us, everyone. My name is Yenelis Guerrero, and this is my husband, Edward Guerrero. So we wanted to bring to this forum the proposal that we have. Currently, we have a store there at 292 Talbot Ave. I know that the name is deceiving. I did try to convince Edward to change it to Talbot Ave, but he says that he wanted to associate it with the other store to like a sense of ownership and pride. So currently we have a small convenience store there. We're looking to sell or to obtain a license to sell beer and wine for takeout only. And we wanted to come to this forum just to bring it to the community and see what your concerns are and how we can address these concerns. We just wanted to share about ourselves that we live here in the city of Boston. We live in Mattapan, actually. We have our kids here. Our kids go to the local schools. Edward has another store on Grove Hall, actually, and he has a barbershop there as well. And I am a nurse here in the city of Boston as well. So I wanted to express that we really care about this community. We wouldn't do anything to deliberately harm the community. We're just looking to, this is one of our main source of income for our kids and our family. And by saying that, I want to express that it's something that if we do get, we would be very responsible and invest. Well, we're looking also to invest in the community. The store has been there for, ¿cuánto tiempo tiene la tienda ya? About 3 years. The first year it was just up getting it running, and then we were looking to connect with the community, but then the pandemic hit. And with restrictions, we're just now getting to do this. But I know that some people had voiced concerns about parking. We just wanted to express that currently our clientele lasts in there maybe 10 minutes at the most. If we move forward with this alcohol license and it gets approved, I don't think that that's going to change. Edward is someone that's constantly there. He's present. We keep our store clean. Our storefront is always kept clean as well. All of our city inspections are up to date and up to code. We take a lot of pride in our business. So I just wanted to bring it up. And we also wanted to connect because I know that obviously it's alcohol and wine that we're looking to sell, and that's not always viewed as something positive, but if we do move forward, we wanted to connect with a group that we can help support that can, let's say we're selling beer and wine, but who can we support, or what group can you guys guide us to that we can support that will help aid in those who are suffering with substance use disorder. So I wanted to give everyone the chance to ask us questions or any concerns that they might have.
Questions, comments, thoughts? I have a few.
Yeah.
So we have a history of just looking at the number of, liquor licenses, tobacco permits, different things sold in the neighborhood, and then also the extreme presence of the advertisements of these items in our community. So we are really concerned about substance use and abuse, of course. So I'm glad you guys are thinking about that. And it sounds like you guys are really trying to be responsible and good neighbors. But we're also thinking about like just visually what it looks like. Your location is close to a lot of schools, a lot of young people. And so we are concerned not just about practice, but also, you know, what the storefront looks like visually.
So currently, if you look at the store, it doesn't have any advertisement right now of alcohol outside. Like it only has the door that is covered, it's glass and you can see right through it. And then the windows have just the store logo, and it has like groceries, condiments on it. Where, let's say if we move forward with this, where the alcohol will be is in a fridge that is directly to the right and in front of where the cashier is. And that's where it would be kept. So it's not like it's going to be promoted like come get alcohol, because we know the effects that has. And I share the sentiment when you say that there's kids, there's schools, but we're going to be promoting is like alcohol use as long as you're doing it responsibly. So everyone who will be buying will be carded. We would get the system that we can scan the cards to make sure that we're not selling to any minors or anyone using fake IDs.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, because the concern is really, you know, the storefronts that are plastered with these advertisements from child's eye level all the way up, you know, to the top of the storefront, to the point where you can't see in or out of the establishment, which creates a safety issue. But then the amount of, you know, advertising and brainwashing that takes place as well. And it's just not attractive for our community. And it just discourages the direction that we really want to go in. And then briefly, I just want to discuss the substance abuse. We have a lot of friends in our Codman Square Park that often are consuming alcohol when they shouldn't be. And so we try to help these friends of ours and their families just see what supports we can provide and what resources we can provide for them. But we do want to move away from establishments that continue to serve and sell products to consumers that probably shouldn't be consuming at the moment. Maybe they're inebriated, maybe they've overconsumed, whatever the case is. We've had a history of merchants just continuing to take part in that negative practice, which impacts our community in a very negative way.
Yeah, so that's actually something that Edward was discussing, because he was saying, like, you know, we need to find out if there's a class that I could, like, I know how to identify as a nurse if someone is under the influence of something, right? It's especially if they've had way too much to drink. And he's expressed like, I want to know, I want to be able to take that class so I can identify, because people who do come in and they are clearly intoxicated, we wouldn't sell alcohol to them. We would advise them to just go home, but we would refuse to sell alcohol at that point. Again, it's also something that you don't want. Whenever you bring someone is at your store and they are intoxicated and you continue to provide that, it's creating also like a hostile environment in your own store, which is something that we're not looking to have, right? So we would politely say, we cannot sell to you at this moment.
Other questions, comments, thoughts? Did you guys have an abutters meeting, or have you met with any other civic groups regarding this request?
So we did have an abutters meeting, but there was not that much turnout. There was actually, I think no one showed up. We did have another abutters meeting maybe about a year ago, right when COVID was starting, let's say that. And there was someone who had concern that there was a liquor store and that it burned down and that it displaced some families. So their concern was that, I guess that person didn't keep things up to code, which could have been a fire that could have been prevented. And we ensured them that all of our business, everything has been up to code. It passes city inspection. But then I spoke yesterday with LaQuisa from I'm gonna say wow. And we're going to be meeting on the 27th with her. And then I recently connected with Paul Malkinas.
Mhm.
Yep. And I believe we're going to be part of their community meeting for the 21st.
That's great. I'm glad you guys are doing your due diligence. Any other thoughts, comments?
I have a question. So I've been in the store. It is nice and clean and neat. It's kind of small though. So like, where would you store like your alcohol? I know usually in order to get the best value, you have to buy in bulk. So like, where would you keep it? And do you sell cigarettes?
Let me ask him. So, ella está diciendo que ella ha ido a la tienda y que es bonita y es pequeña, que donde tú vas a guardar el alcohol, porque para tú vender tienes que guardar en cantidades grandes, y si tú vendes cigarrillos. So he does have a basement at the bottom of the store, and it's locked, and it's maybe double the size of the actual store itself. So that's where he would store, and he does sell cigarettes.
Okay.
There is a question in the chat. I don't know if you see it, from Candace. Will there be security to ensure safe selling of liquor?
So he won't have, he doesn't have security there. He does have several employees. They are just also to just ensure safety and to keep stock flowing. He would be getting more employees if he does get the alcohol license, yeah.
And I mentioned before that, we've been surveying our community and seeing what's available to us. And we have a lot of convenience stores here in Codman Square, from Washington Street to Talbot Ave to Norfolk Street. We have a lot of convenience stores. And it's often a lot of the same items being sold. So we do also want you to think about and consider what other items residents might want. We don't traditionally see access to fresh food at the convenience store. We don't always see, healthier options available to us, but it would be nice if we had all these convenience stores thinking about the, more variety and making all items more convenient and not just the ones that you think we would want.
Thank you. That's great feedback. I just wanted to point out that I know that Edward is trying to arrange so that he can have actually fresh produce at the store. So like fruits, vegetables, and it would just be like a small stock because it's a convenience store, the turnaround, but that's something that he's looking into.
That's good to hear. Keep us posted.
Lots of local farms. You can support those local farms and purchase from them.
Any other comments, questions, thoughts? Do you have a hearing date set?
We had the hearing. We told them, I don't know if you remember that we connected, I think right before the hearing. And so we had the hearing date. So they're postponing the votes until we meet with the community, which is good.
Great. Well, keep us posted on your progress, and we'll continue to share our thoughts, comments, and concerns with you. And we really want you all to be a good neighbor, as we hope to do the same for you.
Thank you. And can, in the future, we be added to the mailing list? We're still trying to integrate ourselves into this community. So please keep us in mind. Edward has another store that also has a restaurant, and at that area, he's very involved. Like whenever there's groups that are meeting, he provides food for them. So please keep us in mind.
Will do. Thank you so much for sharing that. Great. Okay, moving along in the agenda, we will now hear from District 4 Boston City Councilor candidate Deeqo Jibril. We have a lot of people running for the District 4 seat, a lot of people running for city councilor at large, and we have mayoral candidates. So we're just going to trickle them into our community meetings, and we're going to kick this off with Deeqo. I'll hand it off to you. Introduce yourself to the council.
Thank you so much. Before I do that, I was just putting my contact info on the chat. Edward and Yelicia, congrats on your business. I work at the Mayor's Office of Economic Development. Please contact us. My colleague is also on the call if you need help with. I cover Codman Square, Four Corners, and I worked with other main streets in the district. So please, my contact is there. My colleague will also put his contact. We work with small businesses in the city of Boston. So please don't hesitate. We could be a resource to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much, Codman Square Neighborhood Council, for having me. I am very excited to be here and to talk about my campaign for District 4 City Council. As a single mother of 4 children, an immigrant, community organizer, small business owner in the district, I have seen and experienced firsthand the challenge that have persisted in our community of District 4. My family fled a civil war in Somalia, 1991. I came here with my sisters and a brother. I arrived to Boston as a refugee at the age of 12. I grew up in Academy homes, affordable housing. I experienced the struggle of what it means to be a Black immigrant Muslim woman in this country, learning a new language, experiencing difficulty with financial circumstance, navigating the complex system of government and healthcare, and much more. But thankfully, every step that my family and I took, the community of District 4 and the entire city were there to lean on us, to lean on them, and to teach the value of resiliency, community empower. And I'm so glad to be here tonight. And thank you for giving me a chance to get to know me. I was born in a country without democracy or women's rights. Casting my first vote as an American citizen in 2008 for President Barack Obama was very surreal feelings and a great privilege to an honor to have not only to vote, but be able to seek for public office. As you all know, representations matter. I am running to be your next city council because I have a vision for this community that I very love. I have experience and I understand what it will take to get the job done, to cover COVID-19 pandemic, economic and public health inequality, racial injustice. But I take a great responsibility that I understand what it means for other women who look like me to my candidacy and who have stories like me. I am a Black, I am a Muslim, I am a mother of 4 children, I am a business owner, I am an American. All this aspect of my identity is part of my story, but it's also part of million Bostonian stories. District 4 and the city of Boston, as you all know, have been through so many things over the past year. That's why I'm running to be your next city council. I know this community very well. I understand how we can rebuild. That's why I intend to bring a leadership on my first day of the job, to be a leader who brings people together and ensure that we all have voices that we need to protect, and all the people that fall behind, I want them to heard. I will commit to increase affordable housing, home ownership. I will fight to increase quality jobs for district and to provide youth with high qualities. As you all know, perspective is a beneficial tool when it comes to leadership. And now more than ever, we need a fresh new faces in our City Council of Boston. I worked at ABCD Housing for 7 years. I grew up in Academy Home. I sat on Urban Age board members as a resident. I know the challenge that renters and people who live in a shelter go through. Currently, I'm a business manager for the city of Boston. I understand as a business owner, of immigrant women business owner, I know the challenge and the things that you have to navigate to get the government resource. I will be a champion for you. Public health, as an immigrant and a Black woman, my health concerns were ignored for years. My symptoms were not taken seriously, even though I was describing it. So health disparity existed before COVID. And I will, as your city council, I will create programs that will promote collaboration between community and providers have listening sections with the people of D4, create spaces to talk about health issues as a woman. You know, recently I had a surgery and I want to talk about taking care of women's health because I've been ignored over the years, and I want to share my story so other women who are going through like what I went through, I could be an advocate and I could be someone they can lean on. As you all know, vaccines is not mobile in our district, 9 to 5. Everyone is working at, you know, services. They really need a mobile vaccination flexibility. 9 to 5 doesn't work. You know, having a job, getting a job, I didn't start it at City Hall. Getting a job started for me at DTA office when I was learning how to write a cover letter, when I was learning how to have an interview, when I was learning, you know, in our culture, we don't do eye contact. I had to learn all that. So I need to share my story to empower others that my journey where I'm at today, it did not start it today. I want to champion for District 4 jobs. I know how struggle it is to get jobs, whether it's a city level or a state level or any other entry level. Our communities are facing hard with unemployment, housing crisis, and I look forward to get to know each one of you. I don't want to keep on taking other people's time. I know the agenda is a lot here, but I have been community organizer. I created the first Muslim youth and police dialogue in the city of Boston. And public safety is a concern that I care deeply because my family fled a civil war. We came to Boston because of public safety. And I know our communities need better law enforcement, and I will work on to be your voice. Thank you very much. And I'll take any questions you guys have.
Questions, comments, thoughts?
I can keep going if you guys don't have questions, but I thought I might take a minute.
That was
Questions.
that was such a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing more about you with us. We appreciate it. And I'm glad that you touched upon health disparities and health inequities, because we know all about health inequities here in Codman Square. And we really are looking for a city councilor that will join us in our journey to change the built environment, to increase the resources and positive opportunities that exist in our neighborhood. When we think about a lot of our health inequities, we know why they exist. You know, we look around what's available to us and what's happening in other neighborhoods, and it's really not just and it's not fair. And we're trying to do our part to do something about it. So we really want a candidate that will join us in that fight and in that journey. So it's good to hear some of the things that you're passionate about and some of the things that you're focused on, and that you've lived through a lot of the things that we're experiencing. So you know firsthand what it's like.
Thank you. I know firsthand what it's like. I create programs to better in the immigrant community. For example, in Somalia, women is circumcised. And when we come here, it's very hard for the health professionals who quote unquote supposed to be professional to deal with us. So I created workshops to go over what's pap smear, because we don't have it back home. A lot of immigrants come to this country not having the system that America has. There's no preventive care. You know, there is no engagement with government. Like I mentioned, you know, in our culture, we don't have women's rights, we don't have democracy. So when I come here, I have to learn how to not only speak English, but advocate my needs. So I created programs for women's health. You know, I pushed for my community to get access to exams because they were scared to go to the doctors, you know, press exams when you get to 40. So all those things means a lot to me. And I want to be that bridge that connects between, you know, the community and the government resources that exist. Because a lot of immigrants tend to shy away, not just immigrants, people who were born and raised here too, tend to shy away or not know their resources or not know how to better advocate for themselves. You know, like I said, my job search started at DTA. I experienced DV. I didn't know how to advocate myself. I had to learn, and I'm willing to be that city council that, you know, shares her story and not embarrassed to share her struggles, because that's what makes us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions, thoughts? No. I see people in the chat thanking you for sharing and for sharing your story.
Thank you. I want to say hi, Marilyn. I recognized her. Cynthia, hi.
It really means a lot to us to be able to have the opportunity to get to know you better. So we appreciate your
Thank
time.
you. I will put my campaign contact. It's deeqo.org. My campaign manager will put more details about the campaign. Please get to know us. I am a resident at Four Corners. I have a business at Four Corners, so I'm very local and very accessible.
Great, excellent.
Thank you.
We care about a lot of things here in Codman Square, from green buildings to addressing health inequities to improving the built environment to transforming our parks to, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And so we'll definitely be reaching out to you and your campaign office and just working through and talking through all of those issues.
Yeah, and I'm still working at my job. So if I could be a resource at the Mayor's Office of Economic Development, please don't hesitate. Tom McDutton is also on the call. He's my colleague who covers other Main Street districts.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we were going to hear from Boston City Councilor at Large candidate Saeed Abdulkarim, but he had an emergency, so we won't be hearing from that candidate. So we'll move along in the agenda and we'll make sure that we put time in next month for that presentation. You guys know that there's been some transitions taking place in the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services, and we actually have 2 new Mayor's Liaisons, and I think they're on the call today. So I know we have Denise Dos Santos and Donte Peeples. They're on the call. You guys can both introduce yourselves and tell us what's going on in the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Dos Santos. I will be taking over for the Mid-Dorchester / Cabo Verde community liaison. The role was Chantel was in. I know some of you guys will be missing her, but I am her replacement and I promise to be a great asset to you guys. Just a little background. I've been with the city for 3 years. I just transitioned into this role the second week of March, but I was with the Love Your Block department prior to for 3 years. I know some of you guys may know that for, the beautification or open spaces around the neighborhood and the cleanups. So I was with Kyra's office for 3 years and now I'm in this role. I grew up right in Dorchester. I come from an immigrant family, Cape Verdean family. So I'm like well vested in this neighborhood and community. So I'm looking forward to working directly with you guys and being an asset. I know Cynthia earlier mentioned the Success Link program for the youth is opened again, and it is until May 9th. So I would suggest you guys, if you know any youth, to go to the youth.boston.gov. I'll share this with the board too, where they can in an email. So it's easier for you guys to all see as well. We have the Love Your Block spring cleanups coming up for the Dorchester neighborhood. We will be hosting that May 1st, which is a Saturday. I will also send you guys that form if you know anyone who wants to volunteer or any park, street, or location where can use some help within the neighborhood. Please just shoot me an email with what you guys think would be best. Or if you guys have any needs or any concerns that you've mentioned prior that you want to bring back to the table, I suggest please just reaching back out to me. I would love to start those conversations for you guys, especially seeing that the summer months are coming and I would like to help wherever I can. I know my coworker Donte is here and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Donte Peeples. I'm going to be the new liaison for Mattapan, actually. I believe Rudney was there before. I know people might miss her there as well. But then, as Denise might said about her former colleague, but yes, I just look forward to getting started and getting to work with people and just helping the community any way I can. I know Mattapan is not a far neighbor to Dorchester, so I'll be in and around the neighborhood all the time. I actually am just still on the onboarding part of the position, so I don't have a email just yet, but I can put my personal in the chat, or I can be contacted through either Cynthia or Denise if that's possible. But yes, like I said, I just want to get to work, want to get to know the community even better. I've been a resident of Dorchester, so I live on Facein. Like I've been there my entire life, so I just love the community, want to see what I can do for it. So I look forward to it, guys. Thank you.
Excellent. Welcome. We're so happy that you guys are going to be working with us. Does anyone have any questions for the mayor's office?
Welcome.
So Chantal and Rudney had a nice system in the past where they would rotate and each one would take a different month to present on the mayor's office updates. So you guys can figure out however you want to do it. You are welcome to attend all of our meetings. The more the merrier, but I just want you to know that you have the opportunity to rotate as well if you prefer that. But we are excited you guys are representing our community, and we will definitely put you to work because we're very busy here in Codman Square. Great. Moving along in the agenda, if there are no questions for Denise or Donte, I'm going to hand it off to State Representative Russell Holmes to let us know what's been going on at the state level. Did we lose him?
I seen him on earlier, but I don't see him on now.
Oh, you are right. He's not here. Okay, well then we will shift into announcements, and if he hops back on, we'll allow him to present, but we'll move into announcements. Does anyone have any announcements that they want to share with the group?
Yes, hi. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kesh Lisanen. I'm a Bold teen. And I just wanted to let everyone know that the Bold teens are currently hiring. So if you guys know any youths, please send me their email and their contact information so I can get in touch with them. I'll leave my email in the chat.
Thank you, Keshler. What are
Does anyone know the ages? What ages?
I believe they could start at 13.
Thank you.
Other announcements?
Yes, I have an announcement, Cynthia.
Go ahead. Oh, hey.
All right, thank you so much. Hi, how are you?
Doing well.
I'm good. Good evening, neighbors. I wanted to say, circle back around and say thank you to all the supporters for ROC as we seek out trying to establish a life skills training and wellness center at 872 Morton Street here in Dorchester. ROC is in the process of finalizing some details before we reapproach our elected officials to let them know about the second stakeholders meeting that we're looking to have to make sure folks know exactly how we're looking to operate the space. So definitely, I'm going to be updating all civic associations very soon, along with our ROC President Trina on next steps. But we are very excited for the road ahead, and we look forward to sharing more details in the future.
Thank you for that update. Other announcements?
Hi. Yes, I wanted to jump in here. Hi, everyone. My name is Brianna. I'm the Civic Engagement Director for Michelle Wu and also a neighbor and longtime resident of the Common Square area. I have no specific announcement, but I did want to remind everyone that it is approaching budget season and the councilor should be having the getting the budget sometime next week. And we would just love to hear the community's perspective on how this process should work. We definitely want to make sure this is a collaborative and transparent process this time around, and that we get just as much community involvement and feedback as possible. I could put my information in the chat so we can stay engaged on that, because the budget process is always a hot button issue. So please stay engaged with our office on that.
Excellent.
I'll be polite and raise my hand for that one. Jeff Falkins from the Boston Home Center. I want to thank you guys. I've kind of taken a couple of months off to myself, not getting involved in community meetings, but still trying to do the work that we do. What's happening at the Boston Home Center? We haven't stopped since last March when the pandemic started. All our programs are being offered remotely, from the home buyer education courses through the nonprofits to our direct services like the lottery programs for affordable housing. So although the city seems to be silent, it is not silent. It's just moving a little bit at a different pace. In your area, in our area of Codman Square, we just completed our lottery format for the Woodrow Calendar homes. The last unit on Calendar Street now has an owner assigned to it. So all of those developments that you've seen go up over the last couple of years on Woodrow and Calendar will soon have occupants to them and bring back the vibrancy of the Woodrow Talbot Ave area, or the TNT Triangle as it's known. So that's a positive thing. I'm hopeful that that will connect with the backside of Talbot Ave and the homes that are over there, and we'll have communities. We'll see the kids playing out in the grass again, and that'll help bring some things back. The Home Center is every spring, everyone looks forward to our Spring Expo. Well, we'll be doing it remotely this year. So it will be happening May 1st. I'll update Cynthia so she can share it with the group. And what we'll be doing is having home buyer workshops through Zoom meetings. So you'll be able to listen about the programs. We'll have presenters. We'll have the lending products that are out there so that we can help people engage. We've seen through the One Plus Boston program through MHP and their one program take off and skyrocket. It broke ground during the pandemic and it hasn't stopped. For those of you that don't know, it's offering affordable loan products to those in the 80% to 100% AMI categories. It's offering a 0.5 point to a 1 point discount in interest rate, and it's helping them buy down the purchase prices as much as $50,000. So it's helping a lot of people through the door that normally would not have been able to get through the door. So those are some exciting things that are happening there. We are looking now, because we're working remotely, that we may be offering a second expo by the maybe beginning of June, maybe late June, depending on what the feedback is on the May virtual expo. Because we were envisioning when we have a workshop and people walk through the door, we get in excess of 150 to 200 people. Well, when you're doing it remotely, although it gets the message out, it gives the freedom of people to come and go into the meetings, and we don't want to miss the opportunity of getting our programs out there. So based on the response, the first expo, we're already gearing up to have maybe a second one, either 45 days later or 60 days later, to make sure we get maximum saturation of the programs and services. Homeowner repair programs are still out there operating. Although the work slowed down a little bit during COVID with all the restrictions and ISD restrictions, we're still out there making the repairs and improvements to homeowners projects. So please encourage anyone that may need some work done to reach out, to apply online. We do have to maintain the restrictions of COVID and make sure that we have the safety protocols in effect, but we can still get the work done. So with that, I just wanted to reintroduce ourselves and our program services, and I'll be a little bit more vigilant going forward. I got my steam back, so I'm looking forward to participating again.
That's great to hear. You have stayed busy, so we're happy to hear all the updates.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see that Rep. Holmes has joined the call, so I'll hand it off to him to give us the state update.
Thank you so much. Hope everyone is doing well today. I'm going to start something that I know is me backing up on something, because I've talked about it before, but it's actually becoming live. And that is, as many of you know, we did have a back and forth with the governor and many folks last year around police reform. And Tina Cherry, which many of us know, was one of the folks who were one of the commissioners on what we call the Peace Officer Standard and Training Commission. So for those who don't know, what are 4 cornerstones that we're working on primarily as the elected of color? Obviously, there were many things that were worked on in police reform, and I will call them out. One is called Peace Officer Standard and Training, which to me is the cornerstone of the stuff that we work with for what we thought needed to be done after the murder of George Floyd. Next was what we thought was important was around civil service, which was to reform how our police, fire, EMS, primarily our civil service units demographically are very poorly represented by women. If you think about how poorly they're represented, I think there are literally 16 women who are on our fire department of 1,600, 1%. And then also we had use of force, which is what most of people would think about when you think about George Floyd, which was how should we intervene, and particularly if you're watching some of the hearings or some of the trial today, I should say, you can see how some police officers are testifying against Derek Chauvin about what he should have been doing. But duty to intervene, what is a chokehold? Should you ever have it? Things of that nature was a part of the bill. And then finally, what we had as a component was systemic racism. We just felt like you don't get to essentially 250 years of what has happened in this country, of really just slavery, 100 years of what I would call apartheid, and about 67 years of real reform since the 60s, but have all been trying to be pulled back. But the cornerstone, as I said, was something called Peace Officer Standard and Training. And that is, Tina Cherry is one of 9. And they will now roll out a new commission that will be very similar to what we've done with gaming, or whatever you want to call it. We want to call it gambling, but we call it the Gaming Commission. And then what we've done about the Gaming Commission is that we have said that, hey, basically casinos are totally separate from anything political. So like when we were setting up the new casinos, that didn't come to anything political. Of course, there was some fights between Marty and all the others about what a casino said and stuff like that, but that was set up by a commission. We put in what the rules were, and that commission made it all possible. Same thing happened, of course, as you know, with cannabis. There's an independent cannabis commission that has commissioners. They work independent from us. As a matter of fact, I've never even been to a cannabis hearing and don't even know all of the process. And so we did something similar here with Peace Officer Standard and Training. And the most important component of Peace Officer Standard and Training is that if a police officer acts inappropriate, does something wrong, they will then be forced to go to this commission where they will have their license reviewed. So today, just think about it. If you need your nails done, if you need financial planning, if you need a lawyer, whomever they are, all of us work under some type of license or some type of certification that can be yanked or pulled if we do something inappropriate. Here it is, police officers, which to me should be at the highest standard, don't have a certification, don't have a license, and certainly can move from one police department after doing something, they had been able to, doing something inappropriate. Let me just take 2 minutes and I'll be done. I know how long I go. Today, I've said this before, if you're a state police, you typically have about 1,200 hours or so of training before you hit the street. If you're BPD police, you have, I forget the exact number, if Santos is on the call, I think it was like 900 hours or so of training. But there are police departments across this Commonwealth in today's world that you may have only 200, 300 hours of training before you hit the street. So you think about what is missing out of 600 or 900 hours of training. It is implicit bias training. It is de-escalation training. It is all the things that would be important to me as a Black man being pulled over in Pittsfield or wherever. I want to make sure that you have been well trained. So the commission will have training, have a minimum standard for training, make sure that folks, when they go out of alignment to what we think is important, will be able to now take their license. And so there's also just some basic things that also needs to happen. If you lie on the stand, you automatically lose your license. If you write a false police report, you obviously lose your license. And then on just the duty to intervene piece and chokeholds, like what we're seeing today, you know, how we've seen 8 minutes, 46 seconds move to 9 minutes and 29 seconds. You have officers who literally watched this murder happen and did not intervene. So in the new law, we say you must intervene, or it'll be just like if you were in a joint venture case, if you were a person who was in the middle of a crime, you and I go rob a bank, I drive the car, you rob the bank, you shoot someone and you kill them in the bank and you run and get in the car. When you catch us, I take the same penalty as the person who was in the bank and shot someone and killed them, first degree. Same is going to now happen with police officers. If you see an incident like what happened with George Floyd. One, we're going to have essentially a joint venture. You should have intervened, as there's a duty and a call for you to do. And then if you don't intervene, you will be able to go on the same charges. I know that's 5 minutes, but I doubt if I could get it all done. Cynthia, if I have any questions, I'll answer them, but I know you guys cut me short when you need to.
Thank you for that overview. I think that was helpful for all of us. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or thoughts for what Rep. Holmes just shared and summarized?
Representative Holmes, I will be in touch with you. There's some concern in our community that there is some profile going on. I think there's a joint encounter with Boston Police and the FBI, and some people are getting calls from the FBI and they reach out to me. So I'll be in touch with you. I always tell them, don't say anything, get a lawyer. You have the right to get a lawyer. But as you're representing them, I want to be in touch with you to empower them about their rights.
Well, FBI is definitely Ayana's office, but I can help us get in touch with them. No doubt about it. You said the FBI and who else?
Boston Police. They have a.
Oh, BPD. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Anything else? All right. That was easy. If you all give me some more time, I will speak, but I'll let people do their announcements and I'll come back if I have a few minutes.
Any other announcements?
Cynthia, can I do a pitch for ADSL? I'm sorry, Paul, I stopped you. I'll make this fast. So for those of you who don't know, I'm the executive director of All Dorchester Sports and Leadership. I live in Codman Square, which is why I'm on this call, but I do run the program out of Fields Corner. And I just want to share very briefly some of the programs that are coming up. I know there's been a lot of concern for families and their children about getting out and just getting outside to safe places. And ADSL, we're right at the corner of Park and Dorchester Avenue on a 6-acre park. And I'm asking my friends in Codman Square to help support us as we move through this year of recovery and bring our young people out to participate in some of our programs. They're going to be modified. We're not going to have the large numbers, but we will be offering baseball from 5 years old to 12-year-old. We're going to be having basketball coming up. We're hoping for soccer. We have a summer program with very limited slots for 7 weeks. We're increasing it by a week this year. We employ youth from the neighborhood. And I really need the community's help to support us as we sort of get back on our feet. Dorchester Youth Collaborative recently closed, and we're trying to absorb some of their children through our mentoring and basketball programs. So I need my community to come through and help us move through this and just have the city pay attention to us and fund us in a way that's meaningful and that we can really provide great athletic and enrichment activities for our kids. I'll put my email address in the chat and also our website. Please check us out. And you've stood by me for so many years, and I'm hoping this year we can really step it up again, especially now as we move through this pandemic. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Candace. Other announcements?
Can I just jump in?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Paulia Mooney McCoy, long-term Codman Square resident, been here for over 40 years, and I've worked also with the Boston Project for well over 15 years. And just really quickly, we have started a new program in collaboration with some other community organizations called Codman Square Can We Talk? And we're really excited about this because what it is an open space virtually. It's a virtual space right now where people can come and just share their stories of trauma, of pain, of frustration, of stress, and of their victories as well. But it's a very thoughtfully curated space. It's a safe space for people to come and share. The thought is that there's healing in the telling of your story. There's healing in the hearing of other people's stories. So this happens every second Tuesday of the month from 7 to 8. And it'll be next Tuesday, actually, on April 13th. Will be when we'll be having the next one. We can send out a flyer to you, Cynthia, that you can circulate, that will have the Zoom link on it. So people can, you don't have to sign up, you don't have to register, you can just jump on and just come and be part of a community setting and tell your story and also be heard. So thank you.
Thank you. I think that's a really important initiative. And I think we're going to hear more about it next month, right? We'll have some additional time to just kind of hear how it's been going.
Yes.
That's great. So the only other announcements that I want to share is just a reminder of the Codman Square Branch study that's happening on April 27th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. Check the chat for the link that's accessible to you. Again, the winter market, it's being extended, hopefully through the summer. So make sure you go online and order fresh, local, organic produce, and make sure you contact Keshler or I if you know families in need that need access to free food, free farm fresh food. The Codman Square Farmers Market will start back up in July, so stay tuned for that. We'll be out at the Codman Square Park. You'll be hearing more in the coming months. And our next meeting is May 5th. Any other announcements?
Just a reminder to let everyone know, don't forget the street cleaning has started. And so please, please, please pay attention to your street signs, because they will be ticketing, I think, the first couple of weeks and then towing after that. So be mindful.
Thanks, Marion.
I have a quick announcement. Like Miss Paulina said, at the Boston Project, my name is Christian Grant. I'm the youth program manager at the Boston Project. We do a version of Real Talk with our teenagers, which again, it's a safe space curated for teens, by teens, where they come and they share about what's going on in their lives, highs, lows, victories. And we also have some mental health professionals on standby to help support them. And we do that the last Friday of the month at Elmhurst Park. And we have youth jobs we're doing that starts now. Kids can go on our website, and I'll drop it in the chat. We're hiring 25 high schoolers, and then we have a middle school job readiness program for kids 12 to 14 who are in middle school, who want to kind of get ready for the work field and the workforce. And then we have life coaching for young people who just have a lot going on in life, who need some help goal setting or finding support in life, or they're transitioning from high school to college. We have some trusted adults involved at the Boston Project who want to support young people in our community. So if there's any young people or adults in our community who want to be involved on any level, whether it be working or life coaching, supporting teens, please reach out to me. We would love to be involved. And we really want people in our community to be a reflection of the work that we're doing. So thank you.
That is excellent. I love hearing about all these resources for our young people. Hopefully we can hear more about those initiatives next month as well. Any other announcements, comments, thoughts? If not, I want to thank you all for your time and your attention. We are ending on time, and I will see you next month, same time, same place.
Thank you.
Stay safe and healthy. Bye. Good night.
Good night.
But I wanna be the change I wanna see in